Hello everybody, it's Juliet here with my beautiful messy life. How are you all? Thanks very much for joining me. It has been quite a while since I've come on and done a little chatty life update, homeschool update, so I thought I'll pop on today. Sun's shining and have a little chat, have a little catch up with you. The girls have just gone outside to play. Oh, actually they're at the window peeping in at me. I don't know how well this is going to go. Big sister is off for the day playing with a friend or hanging out, whatever you do when you're 12 years old. So yes, she's off today and the two little ones are trying to amuse themselves. They've had the acrylic paints out this morning. That I have left the room, which is probably a very big mistake, but those acrylic paints are still on the table, so we'll either end up with paint in places it shouldn't be or hardened brushes that haven't been washed out properly. They've been drawing round stencils of cats ready for Halloween. They're getting in the Halloween vibe far too early. We went to the supermarket today, just popped in for a notepad for my son, and all the Halloween stuff's out, but at the side of it is all the Christmas stuff as well. So that was a bit of a shocker. Mince pies were there calling me and I've had to resist. I'm a sucker for a mince pie, but I'm going to really try this year not to get overly festive and participating in those things until a much more sociable month. It's not even the winter time yet, for goodness sake. So yes, we've seen the Halloween costumes and paraphernalia in the supermarket today and the girls are just so excited. It's not even October. But I think that going forward next week, that's what we're going to be doing a lot of. I'm just keeping my ear out because I can hear, I don't know if it's sounds of protest. As I say, I don't know how long this is going to work for me, trying to do you a little video. So anyway, let's crack on. Yes, what have we been up to? We have been plodding along quite nicely, quite happily with September. The autumn has come into our house like a big cloak, like a big warm hug. It's been absolutely wonderful. Given the sadness of the beginning of the month when my father passed away, which I'm sure you are all more than aware of that now. I've put some poems out and I've been on social media talking about that. And it's a process, isn't it? My dad had a stroke 12 months ago in August, so August 12 months ago. And over the 12 months that followed, I did a lot of grieving for him because we slowly lost more and more of Dad. And it was a very sad time. I can feel myself kind of catching now. It was a very sad time, more so than his passing, but it was very sad and hard to watch him struggling so when there was nothing that we could do to help. And so when he did pass away, it was easier than I expected it to be because I was just so relieved for Dad. I was just so glad that my precious father was no longer having to suffer and struggle and watching him, because he was very aware of that, and I was aware that he was aware. And so that, as I say, it was a hard thing to go through together, me and him, but certainly obviously more for him. And I'm just so grateful that he had an easy parting. He was able to just go to sleep, and who could want for more? So who could want for better? So yes, it has been hard, but the children keep you going because they don't sit still, do they? And they obviously miss their granddad He was an incredibly big part of their life, and they will hopefully never ever forget him. But they need to carry on, don't they? Children, they just do. They can't sit still. They can't just wallow in, I suppose. They need to constantly be up and doing, and that is a blessing. And it certainly has been for me, and it's made me get on. As I said, I think I've coped far better than I thought I would, because of the initial 12 months beforehand. Most of my grieving for Dad was done then, and now it's sadness. Now grief has kind of given way into, well, it's sad for me. It's sad for me because I'm not going to see my dad anymore. I'm not going to be able to give him a hug. Can't just pop round for a cup of tea and drop his shopping off and, you know, hear his voice again, and that's sad for me, but it's not the same kind of pain anymore. And I think initially there was a certain an element of kind of disbelief. I wouldn't say shock so much, because we knew that it was coming, but disbelief that it was finally done. And then now I find myself welling up a little bit more than I did to begin with. I kind of just coped and carried on. And so now there's more time to kind of breathe and sit and think a little bit more. And so, yeah, I do feel a little bit more emotional about it now. But as I say, September has been really, really kind to us. We've had some good weather, we've had some not so good weather. So there's been a time for everything, I think, this month so far. We've been able to be outside a lot. And also there's been some really good windy, some good gusts of wind that, you know, you go out for a walk and it's all a bit wild and rainy, and you can kind of silent scream into the rain and get it all out, and it's nice, you know. It's quite a relief. I can hear somebody coming, somebody's upset. What's the matter, girls? What? What are you scared of?
They're outside.
Outside? Is it because it's windy out there? Oh, well, give me a huggy.
I don't want to go. I don't know what to play.
I don't know what to play now. Have you washed your brushes out?
I grabbed them really big swirling water and then flat them.
Okay. All right, be careful. Well, go on then. You can have a little bit of tablet time then.
I'm going to black tablet.
What can you share? Oh my gosh. Winter, come here a minute. Do you want to go on Grandad's one for a little while? Oh, okay. Okay. Sit together. Sit together. Bad mummy moment. Have some tablet time, girls. We don't normally allow tablet time in the middle of the day, but then I've not done a video for you guys for a long time, have I? So I think we'll have a little bit of entertainment for them. Yes. So anyway, I digress. The weather and the season has been really, really good for my soul, I think. And it's kind of, as I say, September kind of came in with its cloak and gave me a big hug, and has just gently allowed me to wander through. And we've had some wonderful sunshine. We've had some great rainy, windy days, as I said, that blown out the cobwebs. Yes, so things are moving forward. They're just different now. I started to write a blog post, and I've not actually published it yet. I wrote it, I think it was probably just a couple of days before my dad did pass away, actually, and it was all about ways to kind of navigate stressful times by having self-compassion, by through self-care and giving yourself some grace, acknowledging that you are human and are actually allowed to feel emotional over various aspects of your life as they come upon you. So I started to write it and need to just tweak it and update it a little bit, and then I'll pop it out there for you guys. But it's kind of a two-parter, and the second part is all about some suggestions of ways that I myself might try to be more compassionate towards myself, and kind of treating yourself how you would do a close friend if they were going through any life event that was causing them some heartache or frustration. Because it doesn't have to be anything sad, does it? Sometimes you can just be stressed out with the general ebb and flow of life and the different things that come along, whether that's work, finances, children, all sorts of things. So yes, I was thinking about some of the things that I might do to be more compassionate to myself, because sometimes I think we do try to just carry on, don't we? And as I was saying earlier, you know, the children certainly help with that, and it is a help. But I do think sometimes you need space in a day to stop and to just be and to sit with your emotions. One of the things that I found on my sober journey, for those of you that don't know, I am 2.5 years sober at the moment. Not saying that an alcoholic beverage will never cross my lips again in the future, but it's just it's not an experiment, but it's kind of an inner journey that I just wanted to eliminate alcohol from my life, because I felt that it was taking away too much of my time. Sometimes I was overreacting to situations or emotions within myself, because they were being masked by an evening. Maybe I'll have a glass of wine, or oh, it's Friday, I've had a hard week, and I'll have a couple of gins and kick back. And then, as I say, perhaps not really being fully present then within my home and my own self. So I eradicated alcohol for a time, and that time has just continued into 2.5 years. So whilst it wasn't some juicy drama, ooh, she's given up drinking, it was certainly a change that I felt was going to benefit my mental well-being, my emotional self, and my physical well-being. Obviously the effects of that don't need explaining, but I just felt like life seemed to be really hard a lot of the time, even though, and I was trying to numb it, so of an evening, I'll have a glass of wine because I've earned it. Oh, it's Friday, I'll have a glass of wine, I've earned it. It's a holiday, let's have a glass of wine, we've earned it. So, you know, it just becomes kind of the culture. I wanted to be real. I wanted to feel in an unaltered way. I just felt like it wasn't aiding me. There was no benefits anymore, and actually I just felt sadder a lot of the time. I've kind of gone in a big loop with that, with what I was trying to say there. But I think with alcohol, I found I wasn't my authentic self, and I wanted to be available emotionally for so many people that I realised I just didn't have any boundaries in place. And so without those boundaries, I was then using this crutch that came with an adult only stamp on it, so that I felt quite grown up and treated at the end of a hard day or week or holiday or special occasion. And it just got a little bit samey. I just felt like actually I would be being a lot more compassionate to myself by allowing myself real feelings, unaltered feelings over X, Y, and Z. And that was just one of the things that I did a couple of years ago to kind of begin helping myself. The second thing that I did was started to put in more boundaries, more limits for my own time and my own self, and it isn't easy, and it hasn't got easier. It's never, I can't say, oh yes, well, everybody's kind of got used to it, because actually nobody's used to it. Everybody still resents. It's not that I will take time on a regular basis to do something, but when I do and I need to, and I rather than asking for it, I take that time that I need, or whatever it is, I still meet objection from every angle. There's no one party in particular. There's always somebody wants a piece of me, and I think that is the same for most people, parents especially, because you've got added responsibilities. But certainly everybody, whether it's your boss, your work colleagues, your friends, family members, and ultimately, if you're a parent, children. And so putting in boundaries and limits and saying, well, no, actually, I'm going to do this for myself now, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. You still kind of do, because that's who you are, but it is really important. So that was another thing that I think I had to put in place and be more aware of, more conscious of. So in terms of self-compassion, having boundaries, having these limits, for me, taking out things that no longer served me, for example, alcohol. It could be a certain person for you. It could be going vegan. It could be exploring a new dietary lifestyle for yourself. Whatever it is, taking up exercise and giving up junk food. Whatever it is, taking out something that is no longer serving you. What else? Yeah, protecting my space. My home and my spaces within it. My home will always have clutter. It won't always be squeaky clean. There are too many of us walking through it. But having certain areas of calm, and that doesn't mean, for me, that doesn't mean painting all the walls white and taking out most of the stuff and being minimalistic. It can be different for every person. Calm for you might be a room full of different styled cushions, all cozy, and hot chocolates with cream and marshmallows bubbling on the side. It could be a little nook in the corner of a larger room with just a couple of blankets and a window and a good book. It could be white walls and minimal furniture, calm colours. Whatever it is for you, but protect your space. And I have to go through and kind of, for me, a lot is material stuff. I love books, and I love personal sentimental things, traditional things, you know, like little buntings and things like that that just make a house a home. I love all those kind of things, but I don't like over purchasing. I don't like too much stuff, and so I don't like stuff for the sake of stuff. We don't need stuff just for the sake of stuff. So just to have a good sort through works wonders for me. Sort through a drawer or a cupboard, tidy a workspace, a shelf, a windowsill, just to, nothing actually needs to leave as long as it's tidied. Organising stuff, I can't stand piles of stuff for nothing, piles of stuff for no reason. I want to put a boundary around them. I want to put them in a box and just make it look a little bit prettier so it's easier on the eye. Doesn't stress me out so much. A tidy bedroom before I go to sleep just clears my mind. Protect your space. Can't really explain why it makes such a difference, but for me that's self-compassion. Things like having a bath, lighting candles, drinking my favourite drink. For me it's a tea, could be your favourite coffee, whatever, out of my favourite mugs, you know, out of my favourite cups and things like that. All those things, you know, spring to mind when anybody talks about self-care and compassion, but actually when you get down a bit deeper, self-compassion can just be things like saying yes when somebody offers a little bit of help somewhere. That's being compassionate towards yourself. Taking time to relax when you ordinarily wouldn't. I've got a whole list of things that need to be done today. I've still got to do them. I need to hang some washing out, and I am going to do it while it's so lovely and blowy and sunshiny. So I don't need to put the tumble dryer on or hang up clothes in the bathroom. I'm going to do that. I need to clean the chickens out. I need to clean the stick insects out. The girls, of course, will want mummy to play with them and read with them, and we're going to do that today. What else do I need to do today? I'm going to hoover the car out. We're going to have a trip to see a friend in a couple of weeks, and I want to make sure that the car's got everything that it needs in it and nothing that it doesn't need in it. So yeah, I've got to do all those things. Collect children from here, there and everywhere, make the dinner. All those things still need to be done, but actually today I wanted to make a video. I wanted to do that because I enjoy it. I love talking to you guys. I love it when you come back to me and talk to me, when we can relate with each other. It's as helpful for me as I hope my topics are for you. And so I find it relaxing. So this is what I'm doing. It's a bit of self-care. It's compassionate towards myself. I've said, you know what, girls, go and have your 10 or 15, 20 minutes. Maybe it'll flip into half an hour's screen time. Today, mummy's going to do this for myself because I want to. I want to do that for me. And so that's what I'm doing. For you, it might be that you're going to go out for a walk with the dog this evening and on your own and just relax. Whatever it might be. So yes, I don't think there's any fixed timeline. We're all rushing around and we're all very quick to tell each other how long we should think and feel things for. Are you not over that yet? You know, that kind of attitude. Oh, have you not moved on yet? Oh, are you still going on about that? And it's just, there's no need for it. There's who sets the fixed timeline on how long we should think and feel a certain thing. Wallowing is not productive. Overthinking is not productive. It's not kind to yourself. But acknowledging that you feel a certain way and riding that wave is compassionate. And there is no timeline. There is no fixed moment that you need to, right, it's time to move on now. We keep moving forward. Don't stop a while if you want to. Stop a while, have a look around. Don't fall backwards. Keep moving forward, but allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling, and ride with your emotions for that time. There's nothing worse than not feeling done with something and having to. It makes me feel like I didn't finish something off. You know, like I've been known to say, you know, I'm not quite over that yet. You know, this has happened, that's happened, this thing occurred, and actually I still want to raise it. I still want to bring it up. Why do I want to bring it up? Because I didn't actually get to put it to bed. I didn't actually get to kind of work it out and work through it. And you can do that in so many ways. It's keep moving forward, talking, asking or accepting help from friends, but allow yourself the time. So there. Now, I've had some wonderful conversations that have come up just by you guys contacting me online via the social media avenues. And it's so lovely to have people come and say, oh, do you know what? I've just found you on here, or I've been following you for a while and actually I really relate to that. Please do comment away on the posts, or, you know, my website's out there. You can contact me through that. Instagram is where I am most often. YouTube, obviously, but please do come back to me with your thoughts and feelings. You know, I'm going to talk about this in a minute actually, but I'm not the expert on anything. I'm just an expert on me and my life, but I'm certainly not the expert, and so I'm still learning as well. You know, it's great to be able to relate and to feel normal and know that you're not alone. And I get as much from that, as I said before, as I hope you do. So please do keep contacting me. One of the things that I posted recently on Instagram was I'd had a frustration with a home educating group online. It was a forum or whatever you call it. And got a bit of a bee in my bonnet about it. And just being able to kind of mini vent it, and so air it, and get some feedback from some of you guys helped me to put that to bed quite quickly and not overthink it and over dramatize it. And what happened was there had been a lady come up on a very popular page that is an amazing resource for home educators, and it has been around for a very long time and hopefully will always be around, and the people who give their time into that are amazing. You know, they've helped so many people, and I hope if ever I have an issue or a question or some kind of query in the future, that I will always be able to go and seek out knowledge from and support from this particular page. However, that being said, sometimes I think that we can get a little bit carried away with our own self-importance. Sometimes we forget what it's like to be right at the beginning of a home educating journey. And sometimes we can think that we know it all because we've been around for a while. And actually that's just not the case. My home educating journey changes year by year. My children change daily. So I change. So why should I know or claim to be an expert on any of it? You know, I am an expert on some things that relate to me and my family life, my way of life. I would consider myself an expert, but then I would also consider you an expert on you and your family life. I wouldn't consider either of us the expert. And this was where I'd got my bee in my bonnet, because there had been a lady who had come on and she had expressed that the local authority had been in touch with her, and she'd only been home educating for 2 weeks. And they had been in touch with her and said, right, please could you provide us with a report and also evidence of learning. We want to see what you have been doing to educate your child. And of course, the lady immediately got influx of support. Oh, obviously that's ridiculous. How, what are they thinking? And all the right kind of words that you want to hear. But she also got one of the volunteer kind of I don't really know the right word, and I'm probably being offensive by not using the right title, but one of the admin, for want of a better word, came on, one with great knowledge, who had been around for a long time, and gave their piece of wisdom and supportive advice, which is exactly what the lady was asking for. And she was in the right place to be doing that. But the response that the admin gave was very impersonal, I felt, in my own opinion. And it was very much kind of like, oh, well, you could probably write a book about what you've done in the past 2 weeks, so don't worry. But for somebody who's new to home education, they perhaps don't realise that. They perhaps haven't thought about all the teeny tiny little things that have added up to this humongous amount of stuff that their kids have actually experienced and done within a 2-week period, let alone like 24 hours, and your child could have gone on an amazing learning journey with one thing or another. But at 2 weeks in, with no prior experience, you're probably not going to realise that. You're probably not going to believe it, understand it. It's just not the way that you will be thinking at that point in your journey. And so the response that came, I felt, was very kind of self-important, is the word I'm going to use. I want to say haughty. It was kind of like, I know, so you listen to me, and this is what will have happened. Ha ha ha. Take it lightly, but you don't need to worry about that. And it was kind of like, but she is worrying about it, and you've not actually quashed any fears by alerting her to the fact that her children have done an amazing amount of stuff within 2 weeks that actually she hasn't realised. And so you've kind of added to it, and it was just a little bit impersonal, kind of like, didn't you know? Hadn't you realised? So I came in with my own comment, which is probably where I went wrong, because I then tried to kind of soften it. And I said that obviously I felt the LA had been far too keen and eager, that she wasn't to worry, and that she could go back to the LA and explain to them that it had only been 2 weeks, and that she could suggest a more appropriate date for her to submit a report, and that was that. The original admin had advised the lady to peruse a fact sheet, which I had also looked at before putting my comment on, because I didn't want to say something that was incorrect. Obviously, I live my life my way, but it's not always what's current in the way of the political side of things. And so I'd read the fact sheet, and I was like, oh yeah, it actually states in there that the LA are allowed to ask for this information as long as they're being reasonable, and actually they're not being reasonable after 2 weeks. And so I raised that issue, but then the admin then pointed out that they had written the fact sheet, and I thought that was unnecessary. And so I'd replied that actually it wasn't a competition, and that I had also written a book on home education, but wasn't trying to compete over who'd written the best thing and piece of information, and actually it was not relevant at all going what the original poster had said. And then I realised that it was actually starting to get a little bit to and fro, and that I was perhaps fueling that by getting more worked up over it. So I added a little comment for the original poster just to explain what I thought that she could do going forward, and then kind of dropped off. And then obviously my notifications continued to go because I hadn't put to stop receiving the notifications. So then I could see an influx of support for the admin. And one of the comments on there was, this person is the expert. And I just sat there, and there was no way I was going to put a comment on, because I knew that that would be the wrong thing for me to do. It would take away everything from the original poster, who was asking for help and support and was in the right place and getting that, and that I would be playing a game of tit for tat if I started to come back. But I was very offended by that comment, and I was angered by it, because nobody knows your children better than you. It's one of the reasons why we advocate for home education in these circles, because actually you know your child best. Okay, you know your child best. You know what works for your family best. And it very much angered me and offended me that this particular support for the original admin comments that I had challenged was coming back with, this person is the expert and has been around for, and all this evidence as to why this person was the person to know best, and very patronising, and I was very cross with it. And I feel that in my space, in my safe spaces, I can say, I am not the expert. You are not the expert. Your child is the expert on themselves. My children are the expert on themselves. I am the expert on me, as you are on you. But I am an expert on my children. You're not. And vice versa. And so for somebody to put that out there, that's where I got my little ruffle. And so had my little vent in my safe spaces and put it to bed. And I had already realised at the point of backward and forward commenting on the thread, I was kind of proud of myself for knowing when to stop, realising that actually I was feeling heated and that it wasn't appropriate for me to continue to have my opinion on what was just intended as a helpful, supportive comment that I had read in a certain way. And that actually I had said my piece, I'd made my point, and I needed to not continue to comment and as I said before, add fuel to the fire. And I was proud of myself for showing restraint and not making it about me and my opinion. But I was annoyed with that supportive comment that the admin had got. And so I had my little vent, and you guys came back, and I got some comments that were relatable, and it really helped. It was lovely, and it really helped me to kind of get things straight in my own mind. It made me realise that I wasn't alone, and that some of you had experienced similar things within home ed circles. I mean, you're always going to get it in groups, aren't you? And you know, we're always going to get it. There's going to be no getting away from it. And whether it's me that reads something wrong or somebody that misinterprets something that I've written, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And I think it's what you do with that, isn't it? And like I said before, knowing when to stop, knowing when you've made your point. And so it was brilliant. It was really good. And I was so grateful to have you guys kind of help me put it to bed. So thank you for that, and please do keep commenting. So if you've seen us on the Instagram, you'll know all the different activities and crafts and things that we've been doing. We've been on a couple of day trips out some nice outings. We were reading, I picked up this little book. It's a very, very old Ladybird book. It's a very old one. I want to find the date for you, but you'll probably, most of you will, it's a 1975 one. It's part of the 601 series, and you get all like the great inventors and things like that. I love Ladybird books. My mum was always a Ladybird book fan, and she got me into them by reading them to me as a child. They're just wonderful. And so anyway, we picked this book up and started to read it. We are very fortunate to live not too far away from some fantastic examples of canals and lock systems. And so I took the girls for a day and we had so much fun. The weather was good to us. While we were there, we were able to, the girls were able to open and close the locks for some narrow boats going through them, so they could see how that worked. I learned so much about how the lock systems worked, and because I was so enthusiastic about it and my new knowledge, I was able to then pass that energy onto the girls. So what could have been a project that they were not particularly drawn to, not for any particular reason, only because they're not really into kind of engineering and things like that as much as they may be in the future or whatever. It's not really their thing. I was able to pass on this energy to them because I was so excited, and I was talking to all the volunteers and it was brilliant. And they, in turn, had a really lovely time, were really excited about it and learned a lot too. And so we haven't actually finished reading the book. We're almost done with it because it does come, it's one of the older children ones, so there's quite a lot to read on each page. But we've just plodded away through that. I just love the pictures inside the inside, and they're just so lovely, aren't they, Ladybird books? So yeah, just from a Ladybird book, we had a really good couple of days with that. What has Ashley been doing? Ashley is currently looking at a couple of IGCSEs. So she's looking at IGCSE Geography, IGCSE History, no, that's a lie, IGCSE English Language. And so they are online courses that we have signed her up for. She's keen to take some GCSE exams. And so because she would like to do that, we have started her now. We're kind of going to drip them in over the years. So she would be in year 8, I believe, in the UK. We're currently reading Animal Farm, which I do know is a text that is often studied in schools, because I myself did it when I was at school at 14, 15. Absolutely love it. So I think Ashley will like to get her teeth into that, and we've been looking at that and discussing all the different messages that come with that. So she's been focusing on those. She's also reading a book about atoms and the periodic table. Took the girls to the museum yesterday, a couple of museums actually, and we had to, we went through like some World War trench systems and old streets, and we looked at rationing books and things like that. As well as, it was kind of a whole mix. We were in amongst the Egyptians one minute, and we were looking at caste systems the next minute. So we had a big jumble up, but I thought the World War stuff was great for the littler girls, because as November comes, we'll start to look at things like Remembrance, Armistice Day, and I will talk to them about that, and we'll do some crafts and paintings and things, and obviously we can connect what we saw in the museums with that. So that might bring about another little topic. The girls have been painting stones to hide so that people can re-hide them. That's quite a popular thing here. We've also got some little STEM kits that the girls can play with that focus very much on gears and levers and pulleys. So I'm going to get those out and strew them. They're actually part of a Goldilocks range that was geared towards girls to try and get them more interested in engineering and STEM activities quite a few years ago. I do think that they are still around and probably have modernised and more sets are added, but we've got 3, and so I'm going to get those out, and we'll also try and recreate one of the activities that we did at the Canal Museum the other day as well. They'd got some wooden train sets and things that they were using, and we'll have a go at doing that if the girls are still interested in that. I'm going to put those out next week. What else are we looking at? Everything autumn equinox tonight, and harvest. Tonight is meant to be the supermoon, last one of the year. The weather is looking absolutely perfect for it, so I'm fingers crossed we're going to be able to see that. Oh gosh, what else? We did read, I did buy and we have read these books. I might have mentioned these before actually, I think I have. Sybil von Olfers. So she has, this lady unfortunately died when she was about 39 back in the day. But before she did, she made these wonderful children's books. The story of the Root Children is something that I've got going on. I think you can just see it in the top corner of the board there. Something going on the art board for that. The story of the Root Children is it's a picture book. It's a very simple story, all about Mother Nature, Mother Earth, and the children of the root, who get ready to go out in the springtime and come back ready for the autumn or fall. It's beautifully illustrated, very gentle, and the younger girls really love it, and it makes brilliant stepping stones for autumn themed things in our house. We loved it so much. We also have The Princess of the Forest, which is another kind of, has an autumnal feel to it. And then we've also got The Snow Children as well, the story of the Snow Children, which we have read, but we're going to keep that out in the book box ready for the winter time, and we'll read that again. We've been looking at Bramley Hedge autumn themed books. We've been reading The Town Mouse and the Country Mouse, of course, Pumpkin Soup by Helen somebody. Let me have a quick look, see if I can find it. I should have had these ready for you. Helen Cooper, Pumpkin Soup, the best you ever tasted. One of our favourite books, that one. Oh gosh, I could just go on and on and on and on and on. I need to stop. I need to hang the washing out, clean the chickens out, clean the car out, get the dinner ready, move on with the day. It's been absolutely fantastic jabbering away to you all again. I hope you've enjoyed it. Comment, 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 talk to me. I absolutely love to talk to you, so talk to me. I will reply to everybody as soon as I am able to, so please don't feel that your comment has been ignored if I'm not very quick to respond. Just bear with me, mummy of 6. So yeah, just bear with me, but I will reply. I absolutely love talking to you all. I cannot say it enough. You are food for the soul, as I hope to be for you, and so please do interact with me. Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of the couple of days that we've got left of September. And I will see you again very, very soon, hopefully sooner rather than later, because I just can't stop talking and I've had so much fun. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.